This is the weekly weather with Maxina and April, where no matter the forecast, it's always sunshine and snow.
Hello, my friend.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, my friend.
Deep breath time.
Yes.
Deep breath time.
How are you?
I'm well. Start with a little prayer.
Let's. Shall I or shall you?
You.
Okay. Father, thank you so much for today. Thank you for all the ways that you show up in our day. Thank you for the nighttime. Thank you for unwinding. Thank you for unwinding with friends. Thank you for tea. And thank you for this conversation. And guide it where it goes. And let it be full of laughter and other adventurous things. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. So I'd ask how the weather is with you, but I think I kind of know. Whirlwind. Tell me about it.
Very much like that. I'm 2 days away from launching my pre-sale.
Yay!
And so by the time our watchers watch this, you will be on the other side of pre-sale having been launched.
Right? Yay!
But it's so exciting.
Yeah. Reconciled Bride is going to be introduced to the world.
Yes, it is.
Yay.
Yes, it is. She's been
3 years?
Well, so 3 years since I really started compiling all my poetry. And it was like a binder this thick of just all my poetry. And then I got to the point where I was extracting out all of the faith poetry and prayer poetry, meditative poetry. I sort of pulled that out and to make it a little, so it had various forms, but this form, Reconciled Bride, came probably about a year and a half, A Wrestle with God was a title for a long time that I was sitting with. And then Jordan Peterson came out that year with his tour and campaign for his book, We Who Wrestle with God.
And you're like, oh.
I was like, I'm not going to wrestle with that.
For sure.
I'm like, no thanks. Thanks, Jordan Peterson. Oh, well, he's great. But I then recognized some of the patterns that were appearing in the poetry, centered around the bride language. So I recognized that that was the book that was calling to be written, and I don't remember exactly how that title specifically came to me. Probably a whisper, of the spirit, but she came to me and she did, and
she's about to be born.
Oh my gosh, it's so strange.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Thank you. That's so encouraging.
And your website's cute, so I can't wait till people are seeing that.
Thank you. Thank you. It feels, there's parts of it that I wonder if, people will recognize where I lack. I'm not, I'm a doodle artist. I'm not a sketch artist. So the very first thing out there is like this, very rudimentary drawing. But I think it just sort of like captures just the bare bones, just the bare truth of what I'm trying to reveal, like in the book. So I went with it. I settled with it, and everything. I mean, I had beta readers and a little bit of help along the way, but all of the writing, all of the artwork, all of the website, all of the copywriting, all of the photography. Well, my author photo was taken by Bill with Far Out Media years ago, and I'm finally like excited to like put it in its proper place. And so, and right out behind that, my Jabbermax website is on my plate. So that's going to come out right, because the back of my book talks about my website and invites people to go shop at my website on Jabbermax. So I can't be slacking. It's like the book's coming out, but the very next thing is website and the actual party and getting that arranged and put together. And oh my gosh, it's like that's the roller coaster we were talking about.
Yes.
I'm terrified. I'm
the
excited
lap
and
belt
terrified.
is tight. You're at the top of that apex, and you're about to go. Woo! And it's going to be down and around and looped and super fast. It's going to be great.
Hopefully. Or it'll be a slow trickle, and I'll have 4 sales, and my 4 fans will be there, and that'll be a really great party, and I'll love it. Because I told myself early on that my big accomplishment with this book, the whole goal, was to hit publish.
Yes.
And that's it. If I hit publish, goal accomplished.
Yes. Everything else will be sprinkles on top.
It is. The fact that I even have the website put together is a sprinkle on top to me. I never, the whole pre-sale, that came to me 2 weeks ago. Because I was like, this isn't going to be ready in time. I'm not going to have physical books on the 14th. You know, I want to debut it on the 14th. So, yeah, it's been, a wild good time, and I'm enjoying it. So.
It's going to be great.
Thank you for all your support, and you've been tremendous encouragement through the whole thing. And
it's easy when it's good.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's easy when it's good.
I'm starting to believe it. I'm starting to believe that people aren't just blowing smoke, and
Right.
they actually are enjoying it. So thank you.
Yeah.
That's really good. How's the weather with you?
It has just been, average 74-degree days. Like nothing spectacular, but nothing devastating. Just good days.
Yeah.
Just being. Work has been interesting. It's a big project, and got a little sun on Saturday dealing with that. And but I think we've done well. We've made our client happy, and they're impressed, and they're like, okay, this is good, so yay. My associate that I hired and trained, and she took this particular project by the reins, and she shines. And it was really cool to see upper management going, okay, I see what you're going for, April, because yes. And she had a moment where she got to get excited because someone who you wouldn't necessarily pinpoint as being someone who's going to step up and take the reins, stepped up and was like, hey, can you teach me I would love to help you with this. And she was like, okay.
Aww.
And he grabbed it and he took a hold, and he was doing really well. And so it's just been really cool that this one singular project has allowed a couple of different people to step up and shine in a way that they wouldn't have necessarily gotten the opportunity. And so that's been fun to see. And you would be proud. I'm writing a goal.
I'm very proud. Especially that you're doing it reluctantly. Like that's even more impressive. I love it.
So interestingly enough, at work it was, hey, I want everybody to give me a goal. And the expectation is blurb goal, like blurb. And I went, no, I'm gonna take this seriously. And so I haven't hit send. It's been an open draft for 2 days now because I wasn't able to actually work on it yesterday. But putting the thoughts together and actually creating the goal so that it is, in fact, obtainable, measurable and obtainable, and not just a pie in the sky wish. And so, yes, I'm doing big girl stuff.
I'm so proud of you. So what was the,
It's a work-related goal.
right, yes, okay. But
So,
still, I mean, you know,
Yeah.
for it to be something that you're sort of making
Yes.
more, like, you know, thought out and
Well-
tangible and a process to achieve it.
Because I
you know.
actually had to go, what do I want from this year? Okay. And we've discussed it before that I'm not good at doing goals because
You're unpracticed.
it's
That's
going
all.
to be gotta go in
Yeah.
6 months, you know. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? At my 7th place. I don't know, you know.
Where the wind takes me, baby.
And what's funny is I haven't lived that life in 30 years.
But those were your formidable years, so.
And they are hard to break. That, like, it is really hard to just create a new mindset. But I giggle every time I look at the calendar because I think of you. And I go, it's not that I don't use them. I have them everywhere. It's just remembering to look at them when you need to.
Yes.
And yeah, I have a big one on the wall at work that I write. If I'm going to be at the Lakeland office instead of the Tampa office, I write that on there so that, hey, you can just look quickly. You don't have to be invited to the digital just look at the wall. Oh, yeah, she's at a doctor's office and then she's staying in Lakeland. Okay, we're not going to see her today.
Yeah.
And they were asking me if I could stay late today, and I was like, can I make it work with still being able to get here on time? And then I glanced up and I went, no, because I have that meeting today.
Like, I thought I could.
I was like, I want to be a team player, but I cannot be a team player. I have to be a team player for somebody else. But then it got canceled anyway, so whatever. But it was on the calendar. I just had
And
to
it
remember
worked.
to look at it.
The system worked. Well, I had a system failure today. I didn't add something very important to my calendar. A family member was in town for breakfast, and I woke up late, didn't get my client, ended up going halfway down to try to rescue another person within the situation, but then they ended up fine. So then I just ended up coming back home, and I was like, I'm just going to start in work. And I just totally, like, it wasn't on my calendar. And then, so if it's not written down, it doesn't exist.
Yep.
So, and, you know, especially with everything that I, you know, going
There's
on.
a lot going on,
right,
yeah.
So, no, I love it. Is there a particular part of the goal setting that you're looking forward to?
Oh, completing it. Like, and going,
Getting it off my...
look, I'm a grown-up and I can do this.
Yes.
Yeah. No, actually just finishing that whole thought process
Yes.
of it's not just a wish. Mm-hmm. There is an actual thought and it can be obtained.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that I don't have to have the full map, but I feel like I need to have a sketch of the map.
Yes.
Because if otherwise it's just
a word on a page.
Yes. And
yes.
so I am doing a few things that make it more tangible.
Yes.
And so my brain's going, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Which, that's the thing that my brain likes anyway, is when I can set the mundane stuff aside and work on something a little creative.
Yes.
And so my brain's going, ooh, I like that. But then other people's things have to take place, and then I have to do things, and
My recommendation is
do
to
work.
set quarterly milestones. If you don't want to do milestones every 3 months, you can do every 4 and do 3 milestones. So you break that one goal down into 3 or 4 milestones, and then those milestones you break down into like 3 or 4 steps.
Well, speaking of quarterly, part of my goal is to touch base with my team at all 3 locations quarterly
Okay.
and get, hey, how are you actually doing? what, because the technology, we have a lot of customers throwing a lot of technology at us. Plus, we've invested in technology. Well, I want you to use our technology. Ugh, but we want to use the one that we just spent a lot of money on. Will you please? And so making sure that we have a grasp of the technologies, what they are doing, how well they work. Are they doing the things that we're paying for them to do?
Mm-hmm.
Are we utilizing them to their fullest?
Yes.
And so that's kind of part of my goal is I'm intertwining that in that I will be checking in quarterly, getting feedback, doing something with that feedback so that I'm not just
Sitting on feedback.
Yeah. Hey, great.
Like,
There's another notebook
thanks
full
for
of
your
stuff.
opinion.
Thank you.
Glad to know what you think about it.
Right? But and it's so funny because sometimes it feels like that. Like,
Yes.
you get started down a path asking questions and wanting to improve things, and then life sidelines. And nope, there's that notebook. I can come back to it years later.
What's within your control as far as the technologies that you use?
Making sure that we know how to use them.
So you train on them, and so you kind of have some control over which parts come from one technology and which parts come from another technology. Can you use both simultaneously, or do you typically try to integrate everything into one technology?
We have an inventory system technology that is new to us, and it's pretty amazing. And I love streamline. Boom, we've received it. I have done the thing, and it goes to you immediately. The old-fashioned way, I had to take pictures of everything, then either handwrite or type up the receiving report, then print the pictures, print that report, stack them all together, scan them to myself, scan them, label them, scan them to you. This system does it. The format's a little different, but all of the words are there. And we have a few clients who they're like, but we want it on our paper. We like the way you did it before. We don't want this. And so it's like, however, this allows me to go, this is exactly what I have left in after you've taken these things. Like, it's easier to track, and then there's
there's more security in that.
Other technologies that we have access to that are not that same. They're not actually that, and so they get used in different ways, and it's just knowing how to use what that person wants for that particular purpose. Are we utilizing what we're spending money on to its fullest? But even in this particular system that we spend a lot of money on, it allows for billing through it. However, we like to keep things complicated. And the way our pricing is set up for different customers based on what they're actually having us do for them doesn't work. So we're like, nope, we're not billing in there.
Gotcha.
Nope, we are going to keep the billing the old-fashioned way because there's too many variables. And that system is like, no, we want to do it simple, straightforward. And it's like, well, that would make sense if we were simple and straightforward. But,
right.
But we're not. But the inventory and knowing the reports and how to utilize them, it's really good. But making sure that the people who need to know how to do it know how to do it. Because otherwise, what was the point?
Yes. Gotcha.
The boss is going, why did I spend money? You're right. Why did you? Because nobody's using it. So let's get everybody using it and make sure they're doing it correctly. And so, yeah.
So with that feedback, I hear you would at least be able to figure out where people's strengths are, how they're using the technologies, and where their weaknesses are, and then tackle that. And then perhaps also on the back end, maybe report build. and then if you have any sort of authority to report to either the technology developers or management who decides on what technology gets chosen, to say, this is what we're having trouble with, and this is why we use this software, this is why we use this is, and if they then have opportunities to give feedback to the technology developers, that's value, that's gold.
Right.
It's like if we have a, major, especially if you're like their main client or something crazy, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, okay, well, we have really solid feedback on how to better integrate these systems or upgrade them, or whatever that looks like. So report building for management side, and then training for employee side. Sounds like two different avenues of result outcome that you could get from
Yes.
feedback.
And so that's the beginning. That is one of the levels of my goal.
I'm very excited
big ol'
for
goal.
you.
My big girl goal.
The stinky, they're so...
Do you know
how
why?
many times I've
Do you know
gone
why
into
I
something
don't?
with
Do you
that?
know why I don't like a goal? It means I have to do something.
Yeah.
I can't
Well,
just
yeah.
wing it by the seat of my pants.
Yeah. Yeah, and well, and
I do like to wing it by the seat of my pants sometimes.
and I get that, I do. And I'll tell you, there's this downside of like when you set a goal and then you don't meet it.
Right.
I've had lots of those where I was, really ambitious. I didn't make them smart or whatever. I was just like, I'm going to do this, or I didn't
Isn't it
really know.
smart is the thing,
Absolutely,
isn't it?
yes.
It's something measurable, attainable. Oh, I know, but smart. You
Yes.
make a smart goal and it means something.
Yes.
What does it mean?
Specific, measurable, obtainable. R is
Feel a really big edit about to come out.
yeah, right. I mean, I even have a blog written about it. I wrote it 10 years ago, but yeah.
It's not research. Tracking?
Trackable, I think, is maybe one of them. We do have it for we could look it up. What is SMART goals? And we can edit that part out that we didn't know what it. We're so smart. We knew what the SMART goals were, guys. And honestly, there's multiple different. I've heard multiple different kinds of goals: measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely.
Timely.
Relevant's got to be
That's
relevant
it.
to what you're doing.
Yes.
And it's got to be timely. You don't want to set I mean, there are I do 1 year, 5 year, 10-year goals. When I sat down and started my business, that was what it was, and I failed a whole lot along the way. But every time I'm like, what's this look like in 5 years? And that would change along the way too. But with right now, you're just starting with one goal.
Yep.
You're starting with 1 year, one thing. What do you want to get out of the year? And So is it one particular goal that you're setting, or are there multiple goals and multiple in like certain areas of work?
It is one specific pinpoint that requires a couple of levels along the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Try not to be too
I getcha.
specific
Yes.
because it's such a
Is there
work related,
right?
and it's very specific to the work.
Yes.
And so trying to keep it a little less of that.
Right. Yeah. Stay vague. So I guess one of my questions then too, is there a professional development goal that is working in tandem with that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
The
I
ultimate.
recommend.
The ultimate is that. That is my ultimate goal.
Okay.
However, in order to free up the time to do and obtain my goal and pursue my actual goal, I have to meet these other lesser goals.
Yes.
Otherwise, I'm right where I am.
Yes.
And
yes.
I'm not moving. So I have to, like, okay, what, in order to be able to even take one step on that path, what do I need to unpack? What do I need to do?
Yes,
and
ma'am.
so that's where I'm building it, so that it makes more sense when I go, hey, boss, this is why.
Yes. That's
Because,
great.
of course, my goals always cost people money.
Good goals do. Unfortunately, I mean,
It is going
big
to be
goals,
an investment.
Yeah, big goals take investment, either time or money or,
So,
all
and
of
it
the
has
above.
to make sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because
Well,
ROI, man, if I see ROI one more
yes,
time this
ROI.
week alone.
Yes.
Woo.
Well, and I mean, for me, I often think about return not just monetarily.
Correct.
And that's, I think,
Well, sometimes
a
it's
much more fun way to measure.
sometimes your investment isn't always money.
Yeah.
Sometimes it really is just your time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And once time is spent, you don't get it back.
Yes.
So the return on your time really has to be worth it.
Yes. Yeah.
And so, yeah.
And they say the most valuable commodity is attention. Attention. That's what everything on social media is vying for. I want you to stay on there for as long as possible. I want your attention. I want your time.
True.
That's very valuable to them. And so should be to you too. So I'm very happy for you. One of the things that stuck out to me earlier in the conversation, you were talking about this project where everybody was working together very beautifully. What's different about this project, do you think, that allowed that spirit to flow through it?
That's a good question, because honestly, it shouldn't. In all aspects, it's no different than any other, except that it's a short-lived project.
Mm-hmm.
It is a seasonal. It will only happen for once a year during a specific amount of time, and it's done. And in all honesty, it is no more important monetarily or otherwise than any of the other projects. Maybe it's just because it feels different. Because it is. It's laid out differently. It's a different commodity. It's the way it goes out is different than our norm. So it's different. And that might just be the ADHD kicking in and everybody going, ooh, this is new and different. It's
So
not
it
the
felt
same.
creative to people, you think, and
It
so
might
they
be.
kind of had the freedom to collaborate on something that usually they're sort of like have a sense of rigidity because of the repetition of what they perform.
Most of our projects are very similar. You receive it, you stock it, then you pull it, you deliver it. Then occasionally we get to install it. And this one is just a little, we're receiving it and we're pulling it, but people are coming to pick it up, and there's this motion, there's this movement, and it's just,
It's just a different flow.
A faster pace. And I think the monotony was broke up.
Yes.
And so it was like, ooh, I want to learn how to do that. That's something different.
Yeah.
But
does your company do like corporate retreats or anything like that? I remember in one of our earlier conversations you talked about a work relationship that you had that you didn't really have an opportunity to build up any kind of relationship outside of the work relationship.
Right.
Maybe that was you. Maybe that was somebody else. But
no. So we have, in the industry, we have not retreats, but summits, conferences, things like that. And when we get to go, there's downtime and time to bond. But no, as a local, we try to do like once a year, maybe a big, we call them family picnics, or the Christmas party. We do not get to do a Christmas party every year, but when we do, we try to make it a big family event. So you bring your families, and we get to hang out and just kind of enjoy each other for a few hours.
So there are multiple opportunities a year for just like camaraderie or whatever. Work retreats kind of have that like balance of the in between where there's a little bit of camaraderie and there's a little bit of professionalism, and so you're kind of bringing that into the space. And some of the work retreats that I've been to were just like, some were just like totally, you know, nothing work related, and some of them were like team building type things. And so I always liked the ones with a little bit of the team building because it sort of ignited that, like, how you work off of each other, the creativity aspect, you know, those types of things. So that was, I always felt like that was such something that equipped me better as a professional.
Right.
When I got to participate in those types of things.
I want to say about 10 years ago, a group of us from work went and did one of the escape rooms. And that was an interesting thing.
Did you get out?
Oh, of course. But it was very interesting to watch the dynamic. And I don't know if anybody else saw it. Like, everybody was really focused. But the particular one that we went to, the theme, because, you know, they all have their theme. The theme was an office. We were locked in an office.
Like, oh, God.
So it was, and it ended up being couples. So it was the boss and his partner. And then the then VP and his wife. And myself and Carl and Pam and her husband. So 1, 2, 3, 4 couples, total of 8 of us.
Okay.
So we walk in and instantly the boss goes and sits at the desk and starts examining the desk. Like instantly. And then this person's over here not waiting for people to find the clues to unlock the locks. He's just going to do the locks until they come undone. Okay. And it was just this weird dynamic of everybody kind of
like
doing
setting
their own
toddlers loose in a playroom. Like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this.
And it was just really interesting to see that happen.
Yes.
Like, and how I was I'll stand back, let everybody get their spot. Okay, I'll go fill in where's needed.
Yes.
It's what I do. And so I found that very funny. And then I remember going, we did a family vacation
Spot. He's got the
a few years back, and it was supposed to be, Carl was supposed to go on the trip, but he had gotten sick, had pneumonia, and he could not go. So it was me and my gal pal Teresa, and then my daughter and her then boyfriend, and my sister and her husband. And we went and we did one of these escape rooms. And I have never seen brains sink so quickly. Like, we were like, okay, we understand our mission. All right, I'm going to search here. You're going to search there. Well, all right, we have clues. Okay, let's talk real quick. Bingo. Yep, this is what this clue means. Oh, that goes over there. Like, we flew through it. Our brains just were synced. Yeah. And I was like,
I bet that was a dopamine hit and a half.
Oh, my goodness. Because I have done several of those. Mm-hmm. And often it's a power play. There's a struggle. This person wants to lead. That person wants to lead. And then it's just this pulling. And then sometimes the clues just don't click for anybody. Yeah. And it's like, and you don't want to be the person who knows everything. And you're like, are you sure that you don't
Do you want to try this?
And it was just that everybody was clicking fast. And it was like, man, and we flew out of there. I think we set a record at that place. Like,
Nice.
or we tied the record. One of the, like, we were really, and I was on fire. I was like, all right, I need to solve another problem. I need to solve another problem. And so we went to Walmart and bought one of those mystery games that has all the clues. And you got to lay them out and solve the murder. Mm-hmm. And so that's how we wrapped up the night, because we were on a high.
Buzzed.
We were
mystery solving.
Our brains were on fire.
Savants over here.
But yeah, sometimes those rooms can be a lot of fun, and sometimes they can be a little annoying.
Yeah.
But if you're with the right people,
Well, yeah, I mean, it's really a matter of, like, you know, who does well being trapped in a room together.
right? Now,
that's
one
what
thing
you're
about that
doing.
is that there's that piece of your brain that knows you're not actually trapped. You have the ability to walk away. Because that was the one thing I remember. People would be like, I can't do it. I can't be locked in a room. You're not actually.
Right. You could knock and say,
You can actually, I
let me the hell out.
I believe the doors are actually, like, you could actually just walk right out the door.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
It's not that serious.
The exit door is just open.
Like, fire hazards, you can't actually lock people in rooms. Like.
That makes sense. Yeah. That makes sense. Like, we were just playing a game. They all died.
I do know something about me, though, is sounds trigger a certain thing in my brain. And there was a video game I used to play with Carl 150 years ago when we were young. Our first year in marriage, you know, we'd rent a PlayStation from the Blockbuster, you know, and this game, this Clockwork Tower, something like that. And I don't really remember, but it was a game that you went room to room, and there were different puzzles in each room. And I was like, ooh, I want to solve the puzzles. But then there was this bad guy. He had a limp and a big pair of shears. And the music would get all ominous and you would hear the and I would fling the remote to Carl because I couldn't move. This paralyzed me. And so he would get me out, and then the guy would go away. He'd be like, "Here you go," and then I could go back to just playing my games. I just want to solve the puzzles.
Right? Yeah.
I don't want to fight a bad
monster. Right.
And so one of these rooms that we went to, as it was getting close, like the timer is going, and then the buzzing is happening, and then and all of a sudden I'm like, and that is like, I can't think now because. And I was like, oh my, what is that?
It's relatable.
I could never be on one of the shows where you have to cook something in a certain amount of time.
Yes.
Just let me, it takes me 36 minutes,
food
okay?
everywhere.
You need it done in 35.
Pots clinging everywhere.
I can cook it in 36 and it's beautiful and cleaned up.
Right.
You tell me I got to do it in 35? It's not happening. Nothing is getting done. I'm standing there frozen in time. Frozen. You want me to what?
Because you demanded it. Yeah.
Like, what is that? Like, time frame? Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Now the panic hits. Let me just do it.
Yeah.
And it takes me an hour and 2 minutes. Oh, you wanted it done in an hour, but I got it done in an hour and 2 minutes.
Right,
Did that 2 minutes kill you?
Yes.
Did the world really end
Did it
in
really
that 2
end?
minutes?
Yeah. And what always gets me is that there are people who just thrive off of that. Like, they just love that. Just
right.
Give me something to beat. Give me somebody to compete against. And
I don't mind. And it's like, I like to compete. I am a little competitive. Like, I want to be the best. But the minute that timer goes...
Yeah. You don't want to be the best under a certain time.
Nope. I can get
leave
done
that
fast.
to somebody else.
I can get done very quickly,
Yes.
and I can beat you. But if there's a timer going, my brain goes, nope, can't do it. No,
I relate.
I will not function.
I think about the clock and nothing, there's nothing else I can think about. Mr. Masco is so comfy.
He's like, I need to be the center of your life.
I know. They switched. It was Spot, and then it was him. He was like, my turn now. Which I'm glad you're at least being well behaved. Usually you get over here and you start rascaling. You start rascaling, don't you? He's a good boy. Oh my goodness. Yeah, no, I'm panicked with a lot of different things. I know I never would be good at like EMS or, anything that requires, and when I first got my administrative assistant certificate, I went out and applied, where I could, but the more experience I had, the more I would look at a resume or, a job description. And if it said, must thrive in a fast-paced office environment, nope, I'm not that person, baby. Not me. No, 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 no. And that's, you'd be surprised how many offices are, a fast-paced environment, which sometimes that's code for, we're always working in the urgent quadrant, and so therefore you must be able to put out fires left and right. Sometimes
Right.
it's code. So sometimes you don't know if it's a red flag, and sometimes you don't know if it's just there's just a lot to deal with. Sometimes you can tell by the nature of is it front end of something,
Right.
and it's a high traffic place. You can pretty well conclude that you're going to be pulled in 30 directions all day long. Not for me, baby. I do my assistance work is really, I lean into it on the personal side, and I can get a pretty fair hourly rate doing personal assistance. I can get a pretty fair hourly rate doing personal assistance, and it's not a fast-paced office environment.
Right.
So that's what I like about it. But yeah, I am not the one, baby. I relate.
Well, and it's so weird because when I was younger, I felt like I could juggle several things at once. But I would make the joke, because of restaurant management for a very long time. And employees would be, my table needs, da, 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 da. And finally I'd have to go, okay, stop. I can do 6 things at once. You're number 7. You're going to have to wait. And then get back to, okay, got you done. And oh, heaven forbid you tell me get to it when you get a minute. That's you just told me I don't need to ever. No, don't. No, because I will never have a minute. Like, no. The amount of times that I woke up in the middle of the night.
We're like, oh no.
I never got that lady her ranch. Oh my.
Yes.
Oh my. She said, when you get a minute.
When you get a minute. Yeah.
No.
Trying to be nice.
I don't have a minute.
Yeah.
You need ranch? Got you.
I'll
be
get
right.
You. Yeah.
I'll be right back.
right
I have to
there.
think about ranch till I get the ranch. Then we're good.
Yes.
But don't no.
That's okay.
Oh
It's
my
not
God.
that important, but if you get around to it, well, I will never.
It-
That's not gonna happen.
And it's so real.
I
'cause
was
it
a waitress for
happens.
6 months, girl, and I was a terrible waitress for 6 months. It was awful. I was friendly. My customers liked me until they got the wrong food, the cold food, the backwards orders, the scrambled eggs, and the not over easy eggs.
I
and
was
the-
good.
oh my gosh,
I will
yeah.
toot my horn. I was good.
God,
I
I
was-
believe you could be.
I was the girl
It's
who
terrible.
would take a party of 15, take their order, not write it down, repeat it back in reverse, and go put it in the machine.
Get it, girl.
Oh, I was
Not me. I am.
That's where I made my money.
Okay. Yeah.
But
it's lucrative if
I
you
had
do
to
it well.
focus. I had to focus.
And be on your feet all day.
Nowadays,
Customers.
let me write that down, please, because I will forget by the time I get to the end of the table.
Yes.
The attention span is not what it used to be.
Yeah.
There are way more squirrels in my brain. But I do remember I was halfway down the line. We were probably at person 6 or 7 of 15. And the lady goes, she's not writing this down. Aren't you going to write this down? And I'm thinking, well, I might have to now because now you're like thrown off my track here. But
yeah.
I was like, if it makes you feel better, I absolutely will. But I think I got it. And she just kept talking. And I was like, I was determined now. And I was like, that's the one I showed off because not only did I take it, but then I repeated it in reverse. And then when it came out, it was perfect. And she was like, I told you.
You're like, I am that one.
I know what I'm doing.
That is impressive. That is anytime I've ever had a waiter or a waitress who could do that, I was like, you've either been, at it for a really, really long time, or you're just spot on as a professional at whatever it is that you do. Some people, no matter where they are, they're going to thrive. They're going to be awesome. They're going to do the best ever,
What was...
or they're just smart enough to put themselves in the environments where they know they will.
I don't know if you remember Bennigan's restaurant.
Oh, I loved Bennigan's. My dad used to take me there after choir practice every Thursday.
So which Bennigan's?
The one right here. Right
on North Nugget?
Yes,
okay.
Yeah. No, right here on Sutherland.
That's what I meant.
Where,
yes.
Yeah.
So, that one was open first, but I didn't work at that one first. I worked at that one second. Worked at the one that was up on the north side by the Olive Garden.
Okay.
It recently became a Smoky Bones ? And now it's a Twin Peaks, I think.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
It's like next to Olive Garden.
That's a restaurant, isn't it?
Yeah, I do believe so.
I thought so.
So when I first started working there, they were doing this beer thing. Oh, the Copper Clover Club. Something like that. Oh, it's been too many years now. But all the beers had these codes and like you had to bring them in. Like, it was a lot. And I had a little book that I wrote down all the codes and like it was going to be fast and easy for me. The interesting part, and you mentioned this previously when we talked about calendaring and journaling and the art of writing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, because just the act of writing it down, I never needed the book.
Mm-hmm.
But I wrote it always in the book. And
yes.
So if somebody else asked, I'd be like, here, you can borrow my book. So I'm standing there and I'm just working on the computer and doing some training because that was like my first week. And the area director was there and he comes over and I don't even remember, but he was being sassy. Oh, I heard about you, something. And I'm all pretending to cry. And he was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And then I start laughing. But he was amazed that he asked a question. And I was like, boop, 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 boop. And he was like, how did you know that? And I was like,
it's in the book.
I don't know. You all told me to learn it. I learned it. But yeah, my memory used to be good. And then
supposedly there's like exercises and stuff that you can do. Well, I know even just simply staying active with reading, crunching your financial numbers consistently, things that you can just practice on a regular basis can help.
Different levels of things.
Mm-hmm.
Like it used to be, I could tell you that particular event happened on a Tuesday, and this is why I know it was a Tuesday, and it just the most random, very specific thing. Like I could remember some really weird things, and now it's like the database is full. It takes a minute to pull it up, but even at the job I'm at now, people who trained me on how to do things 15 years ago come back and ask me, hey, how do we do XYZ? And I'm like, give me a second. Oh, yes, this is what we do. We da-da-da-da-da-da. It's in there.
Yes.
One of my friends, I say she's got a mind like a steel trap because she remembers. No, you said da-da-da, and you were wearing a black shirt when you said it. And da-da-da, like
photographic and everything.
Like, steel trap. I said, mine's more like you're panning for gold. You got to sift it around a bit before it comes out, but it's in there. You just got to sift for it for a little while.
Mine's
There's
a
so
straight
much.
on sieve, man. It's ain't nothing. You lucky if something's getting caught in this thing. It is just it just leaks and leaks and leaks. My memory is so bad, and well, I mean, I say that, but then people always talk about like, oh, you're always so good at, well, like Bible facts is one of the things that my brain for some reason just like latched onto. Names, I'm terrible at, my upcoming things that I have to do, routine things, I'm terrible at. And I think part of it is just, just PTSD from my childhood, and that's sort of common with it's actually called CPTSD. So long term intense trauma is CPTSD, and it causes brain damage, often lifelong brain damage. And I never really like attributed my memory issues to that, but the older I got, the more I realized, especially as a child, when you like talk about like childhood, people talk about their childhood memories and things. Mine are really spotty and cloudy and fuzzy. I'll run into old childhood friends and have like a hard time placing them exactly. And I feel bad because sometimes I'll go back and remember like, oh, like we like hung out. And I just, the memories of anything we ever talked about or did or whatever are just not there. And I just thought, what is wrong with me? But learning and knowing what I know now about, brain development and how that sort of thing affects it, that's one of the things. And I think probably that's why one of the things that had allowed me to lean into using my calendar and just giving myself the allowance, like this is not just a tool for me to be better at what I'm doing. This is a crutch for me to be able to function on a day-to-day basis.
I get that.
Because this is my working memory. And so anybody who would ever have like a really good memory like you're talking about, I didn't, I couldn't. And maybe part of it is like, if you're ever really like, especially with like restaurant industry, if you grew up, maybe doing a lot of cooking and are really familiar with culinary terms and things and kitchen and whatever, then it's easier for you to latch memories and attach memories to the things that you're serving and doing. Whereas if you have fewer connections with that particular topic or subject, then you have fewer connections for your brain to make those memories with. And so and I think this is one of the reasons why I am particularly good at remembering scripture and Bible things, is because I have a lot of reference material from it, because that was one of the things my dad did repetitiously throughout my entire life, from the time that he gave his life to Christ after he stopped doing drugs and on. So it was like time after time after time after time after time after time of being exposed to scripture. Then every time a new piece of information came on, it clicks. It just clicks right in because I have so much reference material around it. And if you've ever looked at the imagery of a new neuron forming, like new neurons making connections, it's really fascinating, that it's all like reaching out, right? But the stronger that neuron is, or the stronger the neurons are around it with that memory, the easier that neuron is going to connect, and the stronger it's going to be. So if you ever do have things that you want to try to remember, or like click into memory, having other things to reference it to is a memory device. Another new, one of the mnemonic devices I learned for like learning names, and remembering to apply it is a whole other thing, right? Like knowing that it exists, but then remembering to apply it, is picking a feature, like a facial feature, because people's faces is another thing that I had people I went to church with, grew up with for years. If I saw them outside of the church setting, like in a grocery store or something, I'd be like, do I know them? I grew up looking at their face at church, but unless I had conversations one-on-one, like really knew them personally, and
If I see people out in the wild and they're not in the uniform that I'm used to them being in,
right?
You don't recognize
their face, yeah, and they're
it's like
yeah.
I know you. What?
Right.
Oh,
yes.
You're the UPS guy.
Yes.
Where's your brown outfit?
Right?
You're
Yeah.
not
What
in a
are you
truck.
doing? Yes.
You don't look the same.
You don't
I'm
look
so
like
sorry,
you, my friend. But
I
get what. So one of the mnemonic devices that you can use is picking a facial feature that's particularly unique to that person, and then picturing the letters of their name hanging off of that feature.
Oh.
And so, like, with you, and you're always wearing your purple glasses,
yes.
So it would be easy, that's an identifiable marker, even just like your purple hair or something, and I could picture the name April just hanging off of those glasses, or like across the purple glasses, like purple April, and so that's a mnemonic device that you can use in order to help remember names and connect them to the faces a little bit easier. So that was, I learned a whole thing about mnemonic devices, public speaking. You can attach each part of the topic of what you're talking about in your speech to an object in the room, a fixed object in the room. And you do it in order, left and right or whatever. And so, the hat is one thing, the painting is another thing, and the lamp is another thing, and your bracelet is another thing. And so that's 4 pieces of my speech, and then I'm attaching the concept of what I'm talking about to each of those items, and then as I go through, I look at those items, and then I remember which items are attached to them.
Interesting.
Yes, yeah. The brain is a really interesting little
It
thing.
really is. It really is. The name thing that I try to utilize is saying the person's name at least 3 times in a natural conversation. Mm-hmm. And that helps. Unless then I don't see you again for over a month. And then it's like... And then I'll second guess myself. Was it Sharon or Susie? It started with an S, I think. Yeah. It was Jackie. I don't know. Yes.
Yeah.
But
it's always nice when you just sort of like learn to let go of the fear of being able to just say, I'm sorry, tell me your name again. Like, if somebody wants to get offended because her name was forgotten, then that's on them, man. There's only so much you can do. You know how many people forget? You know how many people still have known me for years and still call me Maxine? Okay? Do you know how many times it is an A at the end of my name, and there's still people who have known me for years, have watched me growing up, and still call me Maxine.
Carl is Carl with a K, and when we were getting married, his whole family, other than his mother, was sending him cards congratulating Carl with a C. I said, do they not know you?
That had to be a prank.
I was like, are you kidding me? And he goes, nope, my whole life. They
totally forgot what they named him.
His mom was the only person.
Like
his aunts, his grandmother, all of them. And I'm just like, okay. And I know that names are important, which is why it really bothers me when I don't remember. If you don't remember mine, I'm perfectly okay.
Yeah.
Because names are important, especially if you're wearing your name. If you are wearing your name, I will call you by your name.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna, hey, you, sorry, your boss has spent money on that thing. That's on your shirt right there.
Your thing. Yes.
Like, come on, it's not that hard. But I used to freak my grandmother out when we would go to the store because I would greet every employee because they had a name tag on.
Right,
Like, hey,
yes.
Bob, how you doing? Thanks so much. Hey,
Yeah.
Susan, can you tell me where I can find that such and such? And she's like, do you know everybody?
No. Did you know that a person's own name is the sweetest sound to them? It is the thing that will guarantee catching attention as
Yes.
somebody's own name. And so, yeah, no, I think you're very wise to do that, to acknowledge people's names. I like to do that as best as I can.
I can be not paying any attention, and you can be talking to me, and I will not hear any of the words. But if you say April or any word that sounds like April, and in the restaurant in business, apron. Excuse me, what? I was just asking for an apron. My bad.
Oh, okay.
My bad.
Yeah.
My bad.
Yes, yes.
But all of a sudden, I hear what you're talking about now, and where were we? Snow and I had gone for dessert after we went to check out the art show at not a gallery, and there's a lady and kids, and they were talking about months or whatever, and they kept and April, and I kept going, what? Like, I was on my toes. I was like,
Yes.
I wanted to go, can we talk about a different month now, please?
Yes.
Because I don't want to eavesdrop, but I can't stop listening
Right,
to you
yes.
because you keep saying my name. Please change it. But that it was funny because I tune in instantly. You can be whispering in the other room, and if you say my name, my ears go whoop, and now I hear what you're talking about. Doesn't matter that I'm not supposed to know.
Yep, but you heard it. Yeah, that's
You
how.
cannot whisper my name. I will hear what you say every time.
That
Remember?
is definitely. That's natural. I think you're supposed to be attuned to your name. Mine is like, even just Max, if there's another Max in the room, or Matt. Sometimes I would hear, because my dad, sometimes if I was like in trouble or he was like trying to catch my attention real quick because I was doing something stupid, which was a lot. Yeah.
No.
Max! Like barely, we wouldn't even like finish the name. Matt! Like, Max! So if people are just say, or so, like sometimes it's just that syllable. I'm like, oh, that's not for me. Okay.
Not me.
And at family reunions, there were several Maxes. Max is a family name, and so, or my grandpa's name was Max. My cousin's name is Joseph Max, but he doesn't go by Max. But they would all call my grandpa, and every time they say my grandpa's name, I'm turning my head.
Like, what?
And I'm like, no, that's not for me. That's not for me. That's for the patriarch in the room. Not the pipsqueak youngest of the youngest, at that time. But
I love that you're named after your grandpa.
yes, yeah. Well, and my grandmother's name was Maxine too. So
Okay.
he was Charles Max and she was Maxine. And so I got it from both of them, which I always thought was funny that
Hello.
they found each other and married, but he always went by Max. So yeah, it's a family name.
That's cool.
Yeah. My sister's named of my mother's grandfather, and so she's named from our great grandfather, Royal. So, yeah, I like family names.
That's cool.
Yeah. What are you named of?
The month.
You were named in.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I
had a friend named June, and she was born in July.
So the story that I remember my mother telling me as a child was that she had a nurse friend who was an indigenous woman whose name was Leilani. And I was going to be named Leilani after her. I was due in March. Around March 16th, if I remember correctly. I was not born until April 23rd.
Yeah, I was about to say you held out.
And
Wow.
Mom said, yeah, when April rolled around and you still weren't here, I figured there must be a reason, so I changed her name to April. And I said, being a smart aleck 8-year-old, while I was holding on for dear life till he gave me a name I could spell, she did not appreciate that joke at all. I was also born at 20 minutes after noon. So I said, so why Dawn? Because that seems weird. And she goes, it was really the only thing that sounded right. Like, April Dawn, it just sounds pretty. And I was like, I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one. And so many years later, I'm 40. I'm about 40. And I'm talking to my mom's mom. And we're talking about children. And she had a daughter that was born, but didn't live past a few hours. And her name was Leilani. Now I'm confused. Because I'm like, was I named after my mom's deceased? Was I going to be named after my mom's deceased sister? Or some nurse friend of hers? So I ask her, I go, hey, why were you going to name me Leilani? Oh, it was just a name I liked. Nothing to do with either of these two? Now I'm really confused. Okay, I guess it's not important, but that was weird because I told that story forever.
Wow.
I remember her saying, and I hesitate on the indigenous because if she wasn't indigenous, she was from Hawaii. But she was a nurse and she was a friend.
Yes.
I don't know.
Huh. The mystery
Right.
continues, right?
Like,
Huh.
weird.
That is interesting.
Either
That's
way,
funny.
it's not my name.
Right, yeah.
And then
you like, I feel like your name suits you as,
So as a child, go to the fair and they always have the people's names and the meanings written out, right? And it was always beautiful and it always seemed fitting. If the person read it, they would go, oh my God, that is me, right?
Mm-hmm.
April doesn't exist, right? And so you look up April in the dictionary at the 4th month of the year.
Oh, right.
The beginning of spring. Well, yay. I want to say I found one dictionary one time that it alluded to April was a shortened form of Aphrodite, the Greek goddess of love.
Gotcha.
Saw it once.
That was my
Saw
my
it
question.
once.
Okay.
Only once. But it's always the 4th month of the year, the beginning of spring.
Right.
Dawn.
Yeah.
The early hours of morning, the beginning of a day.
Are you looking it up in dictionaries that include its etymology? Where you can
I was
look
8.
up its... Oh.
I was 10.
Okay, yeah.
Who knows,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But
because your word origin will give you the
it
most information.
Bothered me.
Yeah.
Because everybody else had these cool names. John is the beloved of God. And, like, people's names meant things.
Yeah.
And mine was the
I thought
beginning
David
of the day.
was beloved.
The beginning of the day and the beginning of spring. And I was like, ugh, right? Many years later, 22-ish. And I know this because of the church I was in. It was the church that Carl and I got married in, so it had to be in that beginning of that 22nd year. And I was having conversations with God about names. And one thing was Carl and I had recently been married, so less than a year though, but we are married now. Important because I'm like, I was my heart out to God, and it would have been a Saturday because the worship team was practicing and he did the sound. I always just went and enjoyed the worship, and I'm sitting there having this conversation with God, and I'm like, you know, God, when Saul's life changed, he became Paul, and when Abram's life changed, he became Abraham, and why my life changed? Why didn't I get a new name? And I clearly heard him go, you got a new name. And I was like, oh yeah, what? And at that moment, they started singing a song about being white as snow. And I just started laughing. And I went, okay. I see what you did there, God. Okay. But then I was also, hey, what about my name? What does my name mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why is my name, what's important about my name? And I clearly, again, like, I know he told me this. And he goes, it's who, bless you, it is who you are. I go, I don't understand that. He's like, what does your sister say about you? I'm like, oh, that I'm the most forgivenest person she knows. Uh-huh. Now go with that. What is forgiving? Giving someone a clean slate. Mm-hmm. A new beginning. Mm-hmm. Oh!
Yes.
Oh!
Did you know that April used to be the first month of the year?
Yes. Yes. So the beginning of spring, the beginning of the year,
mm-hmm.
the beginning of a day, it's new beginnings.
Yes.
And when I finally understood that, I went, okay. I'm okay with my name. Like, it's my name.
You accept it.
Yeah. And as a child, I just knew that when I turned 18, I was going to have to go by my middle name because grown women aren't named April. That's such a child's
That's so
name.
funny how our minds think.
And I think I was 12
mm-hmm.
and was at a JCPenney's mall jewelry counter with my dad, and the girl behind the counter, her name was April. And I went, oh, your name is April? And she goes, yes. And I went, okay, so grown-ups can be named April? And she was confused, and my dad was like, her name is April. And she was like, oh, and she was still seemed baffled, and I went, I just knew I was going to have to go by my middle name at some point because there were no grown-ups.
April is a little girl's name.
There were no women anywhere named April. Like, what?
That's great.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
The lies we tell ourselves. But yeah, names are important.
It is. They really are. They really are. I have a poem about names. I forget what I called it. I forget what the entitle
You forgot the name of the book.
I forgot the name of the
name
poem.
of the poem about names.
Yes. But it's like, what's in a name? Is it are we born to it, or is it called to us? It's a whole thing, and I forget when I wrote it. I'll find it later tonight and I'll share it with you, and it'll remain a mystery for everybody else. Come to my show. Come to my show and you'll see it.
I'll dub it in later.
Yeah.
This is what it was.
Here it is.
So when I was pregnant with Carrie, I was like, Lord, what's her name? What's her name? I don't want to mess this up. What's her name? And I clearly heard Song. I went, I'm not naming my child Song Snow. No. We're not those hippies. Like, no. And so I remember in early 2000 going online and looking up names that mean song. And I remember printing a list of them. And on the one was Carrie, Kari. And it was French for joyful song. Aww. And then Rena. It was Hebrew for joyous song. So joyful and joyous. And I was like, And I put the list together as all these names. And I said, Carl, pick. And he went, Carrie, Kari, because it looks like my name. Uh-huh. And well, this Renee thing, because it looks good together. And I think it was actually Rena. But
yeah,
nobody was going to do that in Polk County, so it became Renee. And I go back and I look up her name, and that is not what it means.
Oh, no.
I go, did I hallucinate that? Because the search that I used was girl names that mean song.
Right.
And it populated, and these were the definitions. And I remember thinking, oh, how cute, because it was joyful and joyous, and I might have them backwards, but whatever. French and Hebrew, it is beautiful. It is not what comes up at all. Carrie is still French, but that is not what
That's
it
not
means. And
what it
I'm like, well, that's
like I tried.
dumb. I was like, why? How do you change the meanings? And what?
In the middle of, yeah.
I don't believe it. I don't know. But
Just
apparently that was supposed to be her name. That is her name.
Yes.
But I just still don't understand why she was going to be song, because she doesn't sing. Like, she's not the one who's just like singing all the time. That's not her.
Yeah.
She doesn't write music. I don't know.
Well, maybe it remains to be seen.
Right?
We don't know. Or maybe it brought a song to y'all's heart.
No,
Maybe
she
that was,
absolutely did bring a song to my
she
heart.
was,
And
yeah.
I wrote my first lullaby being her mommy. So
Okay. So,
So, yeah.
there you go. She brought songs to your heart.
she did bring songs to my heart.
I love
She
that.
still does.
Good.
She's my special
I
girl.
love that. I've enjoyed meeting your girls, and I really enjoy interacting with Carrie on text, and meeting her was special too. But she's smart, and
Yeah.
you can tell she just has a really good spirit, So proud
She's
mama. You
she's
should be a
going
proud
places.
Mama.
She's
Yeah.
going to do something.
Yeah. Is she enjoying her life?
I think she is.
Good.
I think she is.
Good.
She seems very happy.
That's the most important thing, I think.
Yeah.
It's not easy to be content,
Yes.
to enjoy where you are.
She's got a sweet man. He cares for her deeply. And his family is very kind to her.
Good.
They seem like they like her a lot.
Hmm.
So
What more could you ask for?
I
Blessings and
know.
blessings and blessings.
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's so great. Well, I'm out of tea.
Oh no, me too.
I
I guess it's time to go home.
know. I really enjoyed this conversation.
It was a good
Fun
one.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining Maxina Sunshine and April Snow on the weekly weather. Like and follow to catch our next conversation.